Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be going over 5 tips on healthier hair in my Finding Yourself series. So this will be episode 1. But before I jump into it, if you're new to my channel, hi, my name's Crystal. This is Becoming Crystal Clear. And over here, we're finding ourselves from, really just losing ourselves from either a loss, a breakup. Maybe you just changed your job and you're really just trying to figure out what next. This channel's for you. So if that sounds like you, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't ever miss an episode, because girl, we're finding ourselves through taking care of ourselves. Let's get into the video. So if you guys see me looking off to the side here, I have a bunch of notes because today we're starting off with the hair. So I'm going to go over, how to really take care of your hair as far as health goes. And I want to make sure I don't miss anything. So I have my notes here. I'm going to go over it. All right. So first tip we're going to talk about in making sure you have healthy hair is going to find out, what is the texture of your hair? And there's multiple textures that your hair can be. So we have the straight, the wavy, the curly, and the coily or / kinky. So normally there's 4 types of hair textures, and you want to make sure you find out which texture your hair is, because once you do, now you can understand how to take care of that hair texture, right? Now, the second thing you want to do in, making sure you take care of your hair is figuring out what is your hair porosity. Now, the hair porosity is broken down in 2 sections. The first section is going to be the high porosity hair type. And the high porosity just means that your hair absorbs moisture very quickly, but it also loses moisture very quickly, right? So you want to make sure that if you have a high porosity hair type, you can actually put the moisture in and lock it in. And don't worry, we're going to go over that. But the second type of hair porosity that you have is low porosity. And the low porosity hair types, it just means your hair, it takes forever to, hold on to moisture. But once it does, it holds on to it for a while. And then we have the girlies who are very lucky and they're medium porosity hair types. And that just means they're in the middle, they're not losing it as much. They're not like absorbing it too fast. Now, how to figure out what kind of hair porosity you have is to do the cup of water test. So you want to take a strand of your hair, maybe some shed hair, and you want to put it in some water in a cup, and you're going to monitor it. So once you put it in the cup, does it float on top? Does it sink slowly into the middle, or does it sink really fast to the bottom? Now, if it floats on the top, it means you have very low porosity hair. It just means the hair is not absorbing that water. So that's why it's floating on top of the water. Now, if it slowly goes into the middle and kind of stays there, you're in that medium porosity section, and you're kind of one of the lucky people because you have like good balance. It just means your cuticles are not fully open and then they're not fully closed. Now, if it falls to the bottom where it immediately put in there and just sucks that water up and it's in the bottom of the cup, that means you have very, very high porosity hair. So that just soaked up all the moisture, right? So you want to check that out and see what kind of porosity hair you have. And then in doing so, now we can move to the next step. So the second tip on, taking care of your hair is obviously keeping your hair clean. So washing the hair. So based on, your hair texture that we just went over, the porosity, now okay, how often do I need to wash my hair? What products I need to use in my hair? Because I figured out, does my hair lose moisture a lot? Does it hold on to the moisture? Is it kind of in the middle? And there's a couple things that, really takes in account when you're thinking about, okay, when should I wash my hair? So first of all, are you a straight girly? If your hair is straight, that means it's probably going to get greasy faster, right? Do you work out? Do you have curly hair? Do you have kinky hair? Does it get dry easily? Do you have in a protective style? You have to figure out, okay, what is my lifestyle? What is my hair? And it's going to tell you, when it's ready to be washed. Typically, you want to stick to a regimen of either like twice a week, once every week, or sometimes we can stretch it once every 2 weeks. But the goal of what we're doing on here on the channel is to figure out what works for you, girly. And you're gonna find that out from just listening to your hair. So listen to your hair, see what it's asking for and provide that for it. So you wanna figure out, okay, how often should I wash my hair? And for me, I'm the kind of girly, when I need to wash my hair, immediately my hair starts itching. I also go to the gym very regularly, so I do sweat. So I try to make sure I do wash my hair very regularly. And even if I'm in a protective style, I still want to make sure I'm getting, all the gunk off my scalp and all that product and all of that, right? So make sure you're washing your hair. Now, the fourth tip is treating the hair during wash days. So I know we figured out our hair texture. We're like, okay, I know what kind of hair texture I have. And I know we figured out, okay, what's my porosity, right? We've done that. And now it's like, okay, we have to make sure we're routinely washing our hair. That's all good to go. Now we want to make sure on those wash days, you're treating the hair, because if you're just washing it, girl, it's just going to be dry. We need to add moisture. We need to add treatments. We need to get it glossy, right? So that is super important. On wash days, you need to have a plan on how you're going to treat your hair. So a couple of things you want to think about: deep condition. I always deep condition my hair on wash days. And a trick I use is, once I wash my hair, use my conditioner that, neutralizes the shampoo, I have a deep conditioner that I put in my hair. And I sit under, one of those like heated caps, and really just let the deep conditioner sit. And then I wash my hair out. And after that, I go to styling. But you always want to make sure you're adding some moisture back to your hair to make sure it's locking that moisture in. Now, other things you can do is hot oil treatments. Those are amazing too. And normally I do a hot oil treatment before I get into the shower. I'm not going to do it afterwards, because washing that out, the oil kind of stays on the hair. So a little trick you can do is put the oil in. You can warm it up, put it in maybe overnight, wear a shower cap, headscarf, or if you want to do it before you wash your hair, you can actually put it in before you wash, and then get in the shower and wash all that good stuff. Second thing, after you've done deep conditioning the hair, or whatever treatment you've done with the hair, you want to make sure you do some moisturizer, some sort of adding moisture back into the hair to make sure that it's going to hold on to it through your protective style or whatever styling you plan on doing. So for example, for my curly girlies, we do have different types of methods. So for example, the lock method or the LCO method, this is where you use a leave-in, oil or cream. For me, the LCO works where I use a leave-in, then I use a cream, and then I use an oil on top of that to seal it. Now, if you have more straight hair, obviously you're not going to use a lot of heavy products. You might only need one product because your hair isn't, going to dry out super fast. So really make sure that you're catering whatever method you're using for the hair based on your hair texture. And a lot of the times, if you're washing your hair in a protective style, it might be a little bit different. So if you have braids or if you have a sew-in and you're deciding to wash the hair, that procedure might look a little bit different, because mostly you're just focusing on cleaning the scalp. But you always want to make sure in those situations, maybe use a moisturizing shampoo, and then afterward use some sort of leave-in spray to add some moisture back to the hair. Most important thing in your process of doing your hair, girls, please use a heat protectant if you're gonna actually use heat. So for me, when I do my wash days, I do like to do a blow dry. And if I do a blow dry, it's always good to use a heat protectant after you do so, because obviously that's heat on your hair. We don't want to damage the hair. And if you're someone who, you want to flat iron and it is coming into flat iron season, if that's you, make sure you're using a heat protectant, because we want to make sure all that work we just did, all the moisture we just added, it's protected from the heat. The number fifth tip, or number 5, is to make sure you build a schedule and a routine. And I know this is the boring part, because a lot of the times, when we talk about taking care of things or doing things, or you see people with those really long hair and they're like, okay, I wear like a sew-in, but then I take it out and my hair's down to my back. Guess what? they're actually putting themselves on a schedule and they have a routine with their hair, right? So what that looks like, I want you to go into your calendar and find out, how often do I need to wash my hair? Do I need to do it weekly? Do I need to do bi-weekly? Do I need to do it twice a week, right? Whatever works for your hair, put your hair routine on a schedule. So you're going to schedule it in and say, today is wash day, today is hair day. Figure out what style you're going to do, or if you're washing it in a protective style, either way, and plan it out in your calendar. Remember, girlies, over here, we're taking care of ourselves. It's self-care, self-love, and we're finding ourselves through that self-love. So you need to schedule in time for yourself. And that's what you're going to do on hair days. So figure out how often you need to do your hair and schedule that in. The last thing I want to tell you guys in that, in building a schedule and a routine, is to find the products that work for you. I know YouTube, the internet, it's kind of where you see everything, you want to try everything. But honestly, once you find something that works, and they always say, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. You find something that works, use it, leave it on a routine. Your hair is going to love it. You're going to thank me. You're going to thank the product and whatever else you're going to thank from that routine. Because I have been using maybe like 2 products as far as like wash day, moisturize, deep condition. I've been using it for years, and my hair, granted, I've tried multiple things. I've cut my hair off multiple times and I've grown it back multiple times. And that's because I find a routine that my hair likes and I stick to it. So find the products that work for your hair and then really stick to that product and make sure you're keeping it in a routine. Keep it on a rotation. This is the boring part of, finding ourselves, guys, is when we have to plan that routine and stick to it. And remember, sticking to the routine is self-care. It's self-love. So I've gone over the 5 things about taking care of your hair, making sure you have healthy hair. On our next episode, I'm going to go over, different styles you can utilize based on, how you look, your face shape. I'm not going to go into it too much, but that's going to be the next episode, because listen, over here, we're focused on getting ourselves right and finding ourselves through self-love, which starts through self-care. So thank you again, guys, for sticking around with me on the episode. Again, if you're new here, subscribe. If you're new here, subscribe. I don't know why I'm tongue-tied. And if you like content like this, let me know in the comments. Also, post in the comments, different things you found that helps your hair, or if you know what your porosity is, or if you know what your hair type is, post it in the comments. Or if you don't know, post that in the comments as well, because, here we're all about learning and growing. So I'll see you guys in the comments. I'll also see you on the next videos. I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, bye guys.